1.
Live from Miami, this is the first installment of the Doug Graham Show. Here's your host, the head basketball coach of the Lady Fighting Tigers, Doug Graham.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for joining us tonight for the first installment of the Doug Graham Show. I have a couple guests that we will be learning a little bit more about. The first guest that will be joining us here tonight in Miami will be assistant girls basketball coach Dan Pride. All right, you guys might see Dan roam the sidelines during football season, also on the basketball court during the winter, and on the softball field during the spring, right?
Yes.
Okay. Coach Pride, you're an Ironton graduate. What year did you graduate from Ironton?
1961.
1961. Now, can you tell us a little bit about playing sports at Ironton High School? I know you played football and basketball, correct? All right, just real briefly, just give us a rundown of football and basketball at Ironton whenever you were playing in the 60s.
Well, it's quite a while back, but the things that I remember most, I guess, is what a great time I had playing sports at Ironton High School. Football and basketball. It later led me to a full ride in college education. So, it was just a wonderful time. Just morale there. People love sports in Ironton.
Now, a lot of people associate Ironton football with Bob Luth. Bob Luth was not your coach. Who was your coach at Ironton High School in football season?
I was coached by Charlie Couts.
Okay. Did you have success in football or basketball during your time in high school?
Well, I would like to think that I did. In high school, I was fortunate enough to be, I was honorably mentioned in All-State. In basketball, I thought I had a pretty good career in basketball. I played the three position forward, averaged about 12 points a game, about 12 rebounds a game.
Okay. Now going back to playing sports at Ironton High School, who was the best player that you ever went against in basketball at Ironton High School?
Oh wow! Probably, I think when I was probably a little younger, I played against Ralph Sneed, that I thought was a great basketball player. Naturally, I grew up playing with Corey Bacon, who was big, strong, great athlete. So, those two, I think. Also, a kid by the name of Charlie Rollins was quite a basketball player.
All right. Now, also, I think, didn't you play against Larry Conley whenever he was with Ashland and you played for Ironton? Okay. Next question. Now, you said earlier that you got full ride education for sports. Where did you go to school? What sport did you play? And
I was recruited by a coach at Jackson State College in Jackson, Mississippi, and got a 4-year scholarship to play football. He later transferred jobs and took me with him to Tennessee State, so I finished my career at Tennessee A&M University of Nashville.
Okay. What did you study in school, in college?
I was a health and physical education major.
Okay. All right. So I'm sure many of you guys know that Coach Pride played for the Chicago Bears. Can you tell us a little bit how you got to play for the Chicago Bears from Tennessee, the school that you attended in Tennessee, all the way to Chicago in your career for the Bears?
Well, my senior year, there was 21 of us drafted to play into professional football. We had 21 drafted off the team, and I was fortunate enough. I was a 10th round pick for the San Diego Chargers. I went to San Diego, and things didn't work out well there, so I went to Chicago and tried out for the Chicago Bears. Well, to make a long story short, I got my opportunity when we were playing the College All-Stars that year, and it was Floyd Little and Bob Greasy and Alan Page, and those guys played College All-Stars. We used to scrimmage them every year, and I had a pretty good scrimmage against them. I think that propelled me to opportunity to play.
All right. Now, while you played with the Bears, I think you played your home football games at Wrigley Field?
Wrigley Field.
Okay. Now, did you name some of the players that we would be familiar with that you played with in Chicago?
Well, probably probably the most famous one would be probably Dick Buckus, to which I believe was probably one of the greatest linebackers ever played a game.
Absolutely.
And I was also fortunate enough to play with Gale Sayers, who was a great running back from Kansas. And that was at the time, I was there at the time when, I don't know whether you remember Brian Piccolo, the Piccolo situation. I was there during that whole time, and that was quite an experience.
Well, it sounds like you played with some tremendous athletes. Here to finish up your portion of the interview, I'm going to give you an easy question. Make sure you hit it out of the park, okay? Can you explain to the viewers what it's like to coach Ironton girls basketball and work for me?
Well, one of the things I can tell you about this man is he's an extremely hard worker. I've learned a lot working with him, and I've just enjoyed it. The girls are great. It's a wonderful program to be involved with. That's why I'm still doing it. I'm 70 years old and been thinking about retiring for a long time, but it's tough for me to retire because I'm having so much fun. And part of the reason why I'm having fun is working with you and working with the girls at our high school. I just think it's a great place to work. It's a great place to just be involved with. It keeps me young.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, we can't say, or I can't say enough how much we appreciate you, and I love having you around, and I've learned a lot from you too. So thank you for that, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come in for the interview.
Well, it's been great being on your show.
All right, thanks. All right, thank you. All right. Next on the Doug Graham Show would be my other assistant coach, Mr. Corey McKnight.
Thanks for having me, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. All right, thanks for coming on. All right. All right. Now, you attended Ironton High School.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the viewers what year you graduated high school and what did you do while you're in high school as far as the sports you played and the clubs that you belonged to?
All right. I graduated in 2008. I played only basketball. But if you check the yearbooks, I was involved in a lot of clubs. I was in math. I was math club president as a senior.
Would you be called a mathlete?
And I had my shirt say Ironton High School Mathletes.
Okay.
Still my greatest accomplishment. I was in National Honor Society, according to the yearbook. German honorary, although I was in Spanish class. German club, basically all the clubs.
Yes.
All the clubs.
You were not officially in the clubs, but you were in the club photo.
Correct. Actually, after I graduated, the Courtyard Marriott rule was established,
Yes.
where you had to be in the club to be in the club photo, which I'm still proud about.
Yes. Okay. Very impressive. Now, you said you played basketball at Ironton.
I was on the team.
You played for 3 years under Coach LaFawn?
3 years under Coach LaFawn.
Okay. Now, can you explain to us the transition that you had from playing with Coach Zorns and then going to Coach LaFawn your sophomore, junior, and senior year?
When I was a freshman, we weren't really around Coach Zorns much. I played for Frank Lee, which most viewers are going to know who Frank Lee is. Frank he's fun to be around. He yells a lot, but he has this side to him where you like being around him. Coach LaFawn, when he came in my sophomore year, you coached for him at South Point.
Yes.
He came in my sophomore year. We really didn't like him very much. He was kind of he was hard to play for. He was strict. But after a while, you learn to start loving him and all that good stuff. But he was a great coach to be around. I wouldn't ask for another coach to play for in high school.
All right, very good. Now, whenever you graduated Ironton High School, you went on to, you're attending Shawnee State, correct?
I am still attending, fifth-year senior.
Fifth-year senior at Ironton. He redshirted his freshman year, okay. He's still at Shawnee State. What are you studying at Shawnee?
I'm studying to be in education, history, math teacher, middle school education.
What grade specifically?
4 through 9.
4 through 9. And how close are you to graduating?
Not as close as I'd like to be.
Okay, all right. All right, so you're at Shawnee State. You want to be a teacher.
Yes, sir.
You want to be a coach, obviously. Can you explain to us why you want to go to the coaching profession?
Being around, my professors in college and other students seeking education, it's kind of obvious. Most people that go into it, I feel like, do it. Most of them have either a good experience with a teacher or a bad experience with a teacher. I was lucky to have good experiences with a teacher, especially going back to Coach LaFawn. Playing for him, it seeing the way he cares about kids off the court really made me want to get involved in coaching and hopefully improve kids' lives every day on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, now Coach Afon was your influence as far as coaching. Did you have any positive influences as far as the classroom is concerned?
There was a couple good teachers. Mr. Bowling, who's also a basketball coach, he's one of my favorites. As you know, Mrs. Neer is one of my favorites as well.
Neer, she's great.
These are all social studies teachers, but there's also Mrs. Ross, who's an English teacher. Most kids love her because she tells it like it is. She's very real, and kids like that every now and then.
Absolutely. Now, might you note that two of the teachers he mentioned were social studies teachers. Social studies department rocks at Ironton High School.
You're a part of that?
I'm definitely a part of that, yes. You know, along with Big City Tim Thomas, we make a terrific department there at Ironton High School. All right, so graduated from Ironton, you're in education at Shawnee, you want to be a coach. Can you give us a little bit of your experiences coaching? I know you coached 1 year at South Point, and then you come down to Ironton. Can you kind of walk us through that a little bit?
After I graduated, my girlfriend graduated from South Point, so I knew their basketball coach very well. After I graduated high school, I kind of hooked up with him, and I was able to coach there for a year. We made the regional finals, lost to Oak Hill.
And you beat in the regional semifinals?
And we beat Ironton in the regional semifinals. It was really awkward because I love Ironton, but you know I had to love who I was coaching for. After that, me and Coach had kind of exchanged texts a lot throughout that year, and then after in the off season, I came to Ironton, volunteered at Ironton for a year. We made the Final Four after we defeated Oak Hill in the regional final, so that was great for me. And then since I've coached 3 more years at Ironton, this is my 4th year.
I'm going to finish up the same way I finished up with Coach Pride. Okay, I'm going to ask you this question. Make sure you hit it out of the ballpark.
I'll do my best.
It's going to be a 2-part. All right. Can you tell me? Hey, Shire.
Shire's in.
Okay. Can you tell me?
Shire, you interrupted my interview.
All right. Go have a seat, son.
Get out.
You're not being mean. Can you tell us? Okay, I lost my train of thought. Can you tell us what it's like to coach Ironton girls basketball and what it's like to work for me?
Coaching Ironton girls basketball is fun. The reason I like being at Ironton is because coaching with Coach Graham, coaching with the school, athletic director Coach Fawn, all the administration, Mr. Rowe, Mr. Nance, and the fans especially. Everyone expects to win. I know you're the same as me. We go into every single game. We might be playing the Miami Heat, but dang it, before the game, we're talking about we're going to win this game. And if we don't win, it's miserable. You know, at other schools, if you play and you lose, it's kind of like, whatever. But at Ironton, everyone expects to win at everything. And that's why I absolutely love it.
Absolutely. And what's it like to work for me?
I was hoping to skip that.
No.
No, it's pretty hard sometimes. We both are so competitive with everything. You're interrupting my interview. We're both so competitive. It's fun most of the time, but sometimes we get into it just because I want to win and he wants to win so bad.
Don't bring up the Ironton Classic this past
We won't bring that up, but no, it's fun. I really like working for him because I learned so much. He's X's and O's. He's a genius, I think. I've learned a lot from him. Hopefully he's learned a little bit from me. Probably not.
No, I have. Absolutely.
But, I like working for him. Like I said, he expects to win. He teaches me a lot. I'm going to be a good head coach. Give it 3 times. Hopefully I'll be a good head coach because I've worked with him for 4 years now. Hopefully 7, 8 years.
Absolutely. All right. Sounds good. Thank you for coming in for the Doug Graham show.
Appreciate having me.
All right. So far, 2 great interviews. We'll finish up with a 3rd interview. Somebody that you may be unfamiliar with, but hopefully you get to see her a lot more here in the next couple of weeks and months. She's new to Ironton High School. She just started playing basketball this year. It's Miss Elena Martin. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Are you good? Are you a little bit nervous?
No.
Okay, good. All right. I'll give you some good questions, okay?
All right.
First of all, can you tell the viewers out there just a brief description about yourself? You know where you grew up. You know, why do you like playing basketball? Things like that.
Yes. Well, my name is Elena Martin. I transferred to Ironton last March. I came over from Rose Hill. Basketball was pretty much my life growing up. That's just what I did. I loved it. And still to this day I'm playing. So.
When did you first pick up a basketball? It might have been with your mom or your dad or whatever, but the first time you started playing basketball, when was that? What grade was you in? And what's your earliest memory of playing basketball?
I always wanted to play younger, but my mom never would let me. She wanted me to be a cheerleader, actually. But I was in the 6th grade, and I told my dad I wanted to play, and he took me in, and that's when I started.
All right. So, was your first experience? Yes, you can be Sonic. Was your first experience with basketball in the 6th grade, was it obviously a positive one, and where was it at?
Yes, I started playing at Rose Hill, and I mean,
it was pretty good? Okay. Was your dad your coach, or who was your coach in 6th grade?
Richard Gamble.
Richard Gamble, is that related? Yeah. Dad, okay. All right, very good, very good. Okay, so you said you came over here to Ironton in March from Rose Hill. Okay, so you played varsity basketball at Rose Hill since 7th grade? Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your career at Rose Hill from 7th grade until 11th grade?
From 7th to 8th grade, it was a big jump. We actually got new coaches. A bunch of people left. And a man, his name was Mark Watkins, and he was my coach from 8th grade up until my sophomore year. And he was the one who pretty much taught me how to play basketball and, how we practiced.
So Mark was a big influence on you?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, did you guys, I know Rose Hill went to the Final Four a couple, maybe 5-6 years ago. Were you a part of that team with the Terry girl and all that? No, you're not part of that? Okay. All right. Now, some of the people out there might not know, but I have you in class as well. Can you tell the viewers what's your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject is probably English.
Why would it be English?
Miss Ross is my favorite. She's my favorite teacher, and it's just my favorite subject.
She's a great teacher, isn't she? Okay. What was the biggest adjustment as far as in the classroom, academically, from transferring from a small private school like Rose Hill to, I won't say a big public school, but a bigger public school than Rose Hill? What was an adjustment?
Definitely time management. I had to learn how to study, more or less. It was a big change.
Okay. All right. Now, also something else, I had you in the classroom. You also do something on the side, besides basketball and your schoolwork. You also model some. Okay, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. In October, I signed with an agency in Cincinnati, and since then I've been working with them.
Oh, and when you say working, what does that mean? Working? What have you been doing? I know you went to New York for a day or two.
Yes,
to model.
I modeled for the Rojo Studio. I'm not sure it's a hair salon in New York.
Okay. All right. And did you did you walk down? When we say model, did you walk down the catwalk, or what did you do exactly?
Yes, he had a runway show, and I also did demo modeling for him. So he showed a different a hairstyle, and I was just a model.
Okay. All right. So New York is one of my favorite cities. Now you went up there for the modeling show. I'm sure you got to sightsee it as well.
Oh, yes.
What are some things that stick out in your mind about New York City?
Times Square, definitely.
Okay.
Shopping.
Okay.
We also went to the Rockefeller Center.
Okay. Did you visit the Today Show?
No.
No. All right. Did you? You say Times Square. What about Times Square that sticks out in your mind?
I love the energy.
You love the energy, like all the people.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. Now we're gonna switch gears and go back to basketball a little bit. Now you have talked about taking the college to KCU. Are you going to pursue basketball at the next level and maybe play at Kentucky Christian University, or is that something you're thinking about?
It's definitely a decision I haven't made for sure yet. I'm thinking about it.
Okay. All right. Can you tell us so far in the last, I don't know, we've been here for probably 36 to 48 hours. Tell us about your trip here to Miami and your time with the girls and the game we played today and all that. Can you just briefly describe it?
I felt like we played really well today. 51-24, correct?
Yes.
So,
No, 54-21.
54-21.
Yes.
I mean, it's been a great time so far, and I'm looking forward to the next few days.
Good. We have about a minute left, so I'm going to finish up with a couple questions that I finish up with Coach Pride and Coach McKnight.
All right.
Playing at Rose Hill and then playing here at Ironton, what's the biggest difference as far as playing at Rose Hill and then playing at Ironton? And then what's it like playing for Ironton girls basketball and myself?
The biggest difference is the pace, the speed of the game. That's something that I've had to relearn, and it's taken quite a bit of time. So I'm glad I made the move. It's been fun, and I enjoy playing.
Well, very good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the first installment of the Doug Graham Show. Join us tomorrow for the second show of the Doug Graham Show. Until then, good night.